Good day.
Hey, everybody.
How are you doing today?
I am tired and wore out.
Really?
Yeah.
How's it
It's
been
been
keeping you
busy. Been
busy?
busy.
Okay.
Indeed it has. How's things up there? You warm?
Yeah, we're pretty good. It looks like you guys are getting hit down there. Well, maybe not you personally, but a lot of the US is getting pounded by some white stuff.
Yeah. How's the chat doing? Are they getting buried in
Yeah, we got
in
Muckster. He doesn't like NASCAR. I don't mind NASCAR, but I understand why people don't like it.
I'm a drag race girl.
Yeah, drag racing's awesome. We got MST. You put a black and a white baby in a sandbox, and they will play together. Racism is taught. I believe that. I believe that's a true statement.
Absolutely.
We got Woodrow. Hello.
All right.
We got Kittle. We got Matt G in here. We got Chris coming in, and we got Bill. Hey, Bill. Who's Bill? Yeah, we're getting a bit of snow here. Cleared
Who's
out the
Bill?
grocery store.
Hey,
Plenty
Chris.
of room for stock. Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm
Awesome.
seeing all the pictures.
Sorry, I'm delayed here. I'm putting my reminder out that I was supposed to do and didn't do.
Mm-hmm. So
It's been, huh?
I was just gonna say, I imagine you're not getting snow, right?
No, of course I am not. Of course I am not. Actually, it's been uncharacteristically warm here. We have had temperatures in near the 70s. And yeah, it's been like everywhere else in the northern hemisphere, we have cold weather in January and February. But not this time.
Hey, yeah. Angel.
Yay. All right. I got my reminders out, I think.
Okay. So
one more.
Why did you decide to pick this topic?
Well, it's we had another shooting in Minneapolis, people.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good. A law-abiding citizen with a concealed carry permit who was legally carrying his firearm in a holster, wearing a holster with his firearm in it. It was behind him. On his back, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There is no law in this country that says you cannot have your legal firearm at a protest. None.
Not that I know of. Yeah.
For whatever reason, he and some ICE agents were involved in some kind of altercation. He ended up on the ground with an ICE agent removing his weapon from its holster.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was not struggling. Oh, appendix carry? Okay. I've had so much going on here. I've gotten brief details. This is a shit show. No matter what, this is ugly. And I agree with the mayor of the city. Rather than ICE coming in to foster protective measures, protect the citizens from these evil, illegal immigrants causing crime and stuff like that. They're the ones causing the crime. The president, for whatever reason, seems to have chosen. Actually, that's a great idea. Can you give Angel Gamer a link?
Mm-hmm.
The president, for whatever reason, has chosen to use federal agencies as a police force for his pet projects.
Yeah.
And all of this began with racism. All of it.
Pretty much. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole concept of what's going on and the rounding up of illegal supposedly is yeah, for sure there's a racist element to it.
Yeah. And it's caused havoc.
Not yet, Kelly. Sorry.
No, that's a good question, because that's something I'm going to answer later, and thank you for bringing that up, because I forgot to bring another page up.
We got Angel Gamer up. Hey, yeah. Angel.
Hey.
Go right ahead, ma'am. Give us since you're there.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting couple of days here with the immediate spin that was being put on what happened. Within an hour of it happening, we already had people declaring that he was a violent domestic terrorist and that he had extra magazines and he was there to do tons of damage. And it became clear from all the different angles of the videos that were shown that he was not, that was not what was happening.
Mind you, this is a nurse at a VA facility.
Yeah, he was an ICU nurse at the VA hospital.
Yeah.
My cousin, her grandpa was at the hospital, got 2 valve replacements and a bypass surgery. I mean, that hospital's been there serving the veterans in our community for so many years. And he used to do cancer research too before he worked there. I mean, he was there exercising his First Amendment right. He was filming ICE. And what we have experienced here is that they don't want to be filmed. And if you film them, they will take pictures of you and your license plate. And they even said that they put people in databases and they are labeled as domestic terrorists. These ICE agents here are thugs, and they never accomplished anything in their life, it seems like. And so this is them showing up and trying to show that they're worth something, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. There's some of that for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
even their hiring practices are questionable at best. And then it gets even worse with training.
Right. And they're not required to have body cams. They're not law enforcement.
No, they're not.
They are immigration enforcement.
So why they're rounding up citizens is beyond me.
They have no authority as law enforcement. They never have.
And there's bands of them going onto Indian reservations because Botox Barbie made it a point while she was still governor to accuse Indian reservations of protecting and hiding illegal people.
Right. They've been arresting children here.
Yep.
Breaks my heart.
That 5-year-old, the picture of that 5-year-old. And they used that 5-year-old to try and get others out of the house.
Yes. They're claiming that his dad ran away, which wasn't true. They already had him in custody.
Yep.
And they were trying to find any other people at that house. I just got a report from a friend today that they are still going back to Liam's house looking for more people.
Wow.
There's a lot of
that must be some kind of motel there.
Yeah.
Because they keep going back.
The older man that was pulled out of his house in his underwear with a blanket wrapped around him. That was another incident that happened recently. They went to that house initially looking for somebody who was a criminal, but he had already been in prison since 2023.
Yeah.
So they don't do any research before looking for the people.
Well, so much for Doge and their efficiency, right?
Right.
Hey, Dickbag. Very glad you're here.
Yeah.
Yo, Dickbag.
So yeah, we're the one thing that really bothers me in a lot of this is the racism that this is all based in is being whitewashed.
Yeah.
And basically what this group of people in this administration are saying is, don't get in the way of us rounding up all these colored people, because if you do, we're going to kill you.
Yep. And the thing too is that they were just granted basically a carte blanche order where they can knock down any doors in Minnesota. They don't have to have warrants anymore, and they can take anybody. And they bring them to this Whipple building, which is at Fort Snelling. And, a fort that's been there since the 1800s.
Yes.
And they take them there to this Whipple building. And the Whipple building, they won't let anybody else inside. They won't let lawyers in. They won't let clergy in. They won't let senators and legislators in to see the conditions.
Mike B's got a perfect one there.
Yeah.
All right, who's playing the start music again?
I don't know.
Spider Dog.
I don't understand where it's coming from. It's coming from my phone. Sorry.
That's a mistake I would make.
Damn, I've done that twice now. Sorry, that's done.
No, mystery. No, that's not true, because and we're gonna actually get into this topic because obviously discrimination in immigration has been going on for a long time. And I want to talk about how even our educational system has made it possible for us to be this way for a lot of people unknowingly. I know when I was teaching not teaching, I'm sorry, that's not really the true word. I was giving lectures at elementary and high schools around the Cleveland school district. we talked about this because it started, well, basically 1492.
Okay.
When
And
Columbus
people
sailed the ocean blue.
yeah. We learned about the Nina, the Pinna, and the Santa Maria.
Yeah.
I know a lot has changed since I was in school because I am in the last year of Boomer, so it's better, but not much. I mean, elementary school kids are still being taught in places that Columbus discovered America. And
Yeah.
it's not until middle or even high school that the correction is made. So we're going to get into the big bad and the ugly of this because oh, Elon Musk did. Hey. This has been going on for a long time. Hatred has a big history in this country, even before contact is how we call it, which is contact with Europeans. A lot of the Indian groups that were in contact with people like Vikings and stuff like that don't consider them Europeans because they were part of the trade routes.
Mm-hmm.
So they were kind of a part of this thing. It was when the Europeans coming over, the Dutch, the Spanish, the Genoans, when those people started coming over here, that is what we consider contact. So but history tells us, our teachings tell us, and even written history of the early written history of this country tells us that there were interactions between what we call Native Americans and Europe, rare, but still happened. So here in this country, people along the eastern seaboard knew of the Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly through hearing about them from the Vikings that came down. And some of them who actually traveled all the way over there via boats and ships and kidnappings and what have you. So we
Can
knew
I just
about it.
ask,
Yes.
just while we're on the subject, I've heard a lot of terms for Native Americans, First Nations peoples. Is there a preferred or correct term that
Here in Canada, we usually say Indigenous or First
or
Nations.
First Nations, yeah.
But yeah, that's
it's a sticky term because we've got 574 nations here.
Mhm.
Everybody has a preference.
Yeah.
The easiest thing to do is ask, what nation are you from? And they'll tell you. But Indigenous, we don't like terms like Native American to us because to us, anyone born here is a native.
Right.
Okay. So, Indian, are Indians racist? Yes, we are. But we have a different kind of racism. I'm not going to say it's more acceptable, but for people who are already born here, we're not very likely to tell you need to go back where you came from. But what's funny is we have a lot of dumb people that, and I'm a descendant, so I am so bleached out. I am not a full blood by any measure of the word.
Mm-hmm.
But for people who look like they're full blood, to have somebody come and tell them you need to go back where you came from, the best answer I ever saw was somebody who kind of ripped off a joke from Chris Rock, and he said, "Great, let me camp in your backyard."
Yeah.
So yeah, I will say First Nations, I will say Indigenous, I say Indian. I pretty much use all of them because I don't get caught up in a lot of the politics of that.
Yeah.
That
was just a question because I didn't know,
Yeah, when people ask me, I tell them I'm an Abenaki descendant. I actually descend from 3 different tribes, but Abenaki is the most prominent, so that's the one I use. And yeah, so one thing I really enjoyed as far as what's going on in Minneapolis is World Peace and Prayer Day had occurred, and they moved it to Minneapolis. So Chief Arvel Looking Horse, who is one of the carriers of the pipe, and this is all Lakota and Anishinaabe and everything. This is not of my people. Yeah, you know what, Kelly? I grew up for a few years here in Arizona too, and my first experience with racism happened in school here in Arizona.
Wow.
I wanted to talk to the Indian kids, and somebody like me who'd never experienced racism as an assumed white child, my friends would tell me, oh, definitely off, because my people don't have a reservation here. We have 2 in Canada. But so I wanted to talk to the Indian kids that were in school, and they would tell me, oh, you can't do that. Do you see that their skin color? It's dirt. And if you get touched by them, that dirt will rub off on you and it won't wash off.
Jesus.
That was the first thing that I ever heard. And
Wow.
I was so stunned by that. Yeah, there is, including the largest one in the corner of the Northeast Arizona, the Navajo Nation. They don't have more people. The Cherokee Nation have more people, but the Navajo Nation is the biggest. And the poor Hopi Nation are right smack in the middle of it.
We have Ojibwe and Dakota up here mostly. Now
Yeah.
there are sub-tribes of those two.
Yes.
But our lieutenant governor is actually Native, so.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm gonna have to look
Yes.
into that, because I like to keep up with the people.
Yeah, she's, Todd called her a bagel because of the way she looks, but she's actually Native,
really.
so yeah.
Oh, Todd,
We're gonna Jewish, of course, but
we're gonna briefly mention him thanks to Dick Bag, but that's later on in the show. But right now, yeah. So the roots of racism are very deep here. One of the things that I noted or wanted to note is, we have a holiday dedicated to a guy that basically started the genocide of the Americas with Columbus Day. And recently, the current presidential administration changed what had been turned into Native American Day, which is kind of a dumb term anyway, into back to Columbus Day. And
of course,
for us, it's a problem, because many of kids' beliefs about this country and society are born in elementary school learning about Columbus. His discovery of America is their first the first thing that they learn about another culture, usually. Two races meeting together. Thanksgiving, another one. That happy little meal people had, the Indian people that were invited to. Yeah, it didn't work out that way. They were the entertainment. Yes, erasing everything that isn't white. No, Kelly, he actually landed in the Caribbean. That's where he got lost.
Yeah.
So he met, unfortunately, the Taino and the Arawak people, and they were all but wiped out. They have some roots there. Yep. Yes, that would be Cornell West. So this is this is a real problem, because then our children are growing up with these ideas and the roots are set. The reason why we don't like the idea about celebrating Columbus is Columbus and his people. He supported the Hispaniola was in that area. Haiti, and thank you, Angel Gamer. Details I wasn't thinking about at the
That's
time.
the only country outside of North America I've been
right.
to. I guess that's technically still North America. But
they're called the Caribbean islands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
sorry.
I have to go look over here again. Reason why most indigenous people have a problem with celebrating him is, and especially with this current administration, was Columbus and his men, what they actually did with the people. If the people were not listening to them and openly defied them, they would cut off a limb or their nose. If they truly wanted to punish them, they would crack whips at them and chase them, get them to run, and then sick their war dogs on them to tear them apart. It was so horrible that at one time he noted, now Columbus has a diary. You could read this all in his words. It's called, the transcribed title of it is called I, Columbus. Things were so bad there that 100 of the Taino people committed suicide at the same time because they just didn't want to live through that anymore. But the other game that they had was the kidnapping of young girls and using them for pleasure. I want to be careful of my words here.
Yeah.
I have a real problem with that. And their preferred ages were about 9 through 12.
It's also how a lot of diseases got spread too.
Yes. If a girl was found to have gotten pregnant, they would cut open her belly and rip the baby out and feed the baby to their dogs. So, yeah, there's a lot of oh yes, and in 1505, I want to say it was. Guess what else got started by Columbus and his brothers, his sons, his family? They started the slave trade because they were running out of Indians. So they started the Atlantic slave trade, bringing Black people to the islands to grow sugarcane. Because there was no gold in the islands. Of course, they wanted to bring back riches to the queen because she had sponsored a ship, and other people, business people, had helped build those ships to get over there. And there was so little gold on those islands that at first they were killing people who were not bringing it to them because they thought they were stealing it.
Yeah.
These are people on the islands. They have no reason to keep that kind of crap. It has no value to them. But this is where it started. And it spread. So they were kidnapping Indian people and taking them over to Europe as slaves. And it's the same thing as the African slave trade. Usually a third of them were gone and dumped overboard before they got there. It was brutal passage, and they were sold into all sorts of professions, including the oldest profession. So that type of mentality has survived for generations here. This is old. So we'll move up a little bit. We don't need to talk about Columbus anymore. Let me get rid of that.
Oh, by the way, I looked up the lieutenant governor, and this is kind of a fun fact. She is a member of the White Earth Band of Ojibwe, and she is currently the country's highest-ranking Native woman elected to executive office in the whole country. So.
After Deb got removed from her stint at the federal government, and I believe she's running for governor in New Mexico now.
That's wild.
Yep. So let's get into some of the old history here, shall we? So, the history of racial and cultural racism here is a long and winding road. Forced removals, slavery into Jim Crow. And it started in the 1600s when, now get this, I recently found out that the property system of Africans started in 1619. And it was a system that was legally protected for 246 years. So about 200 years before the Constitution, this had been going on. And I remember seeing a speech, and I wish I would have looked up the guy that did it, but he said that that the system of governments that we had from colonial times up to the Constitutional Congress, they had about 200 years head start.
Right.
Before they wrote the Constitution. So when they did write the Constitution, all men are created equal, right? Yeah. But not if you're anything other. American atrocities are repeating themselves in Israel right now. I'm confused by that statement.
Well, I think what he's probably getting at is that there's an element of, there's an element of people in Israel who are, very, if you're not Jewish, you don't belong here. And so those same mindsets take over. And it's not all Israelis, obviously, but there is that mindset there. And unfortunately, there's some of those people are in government. And so I think that's probably what he's touching on.
He said Jim Crow, forced removal, etc.
Oh, there is. Okay, that is something I'm not aware of. As forced removals in Israel, or talking about Gaza?
I mean, I'm trying to be careful.
Well, wait.
Continue.
But yeah, Ocean, if you want to expand on that, go ahead. So we started with obviously indigenous genocide and assimilation, because in order to expand the colonies, they had to remove my ancestors, who were New England Indians, and get them out of the picture as much as possible. Most of my people ran to what is now Canada, and so did others. But in doing so, whoever stayed behind were forced into situations of cultural assimilation and slavery. Then in bringing in more African people, because African people did not know the land. Indians could escape. They knew the land. They knew where to hide. Obviously, it didn't always work. But it was much harder when African people were brought over because they did not know this area. So it was easier to find them.
Completely foreign, for sure.
And this continued into scientific racism, classifying races. They created propaganda, basically, that deemed non-white individuals as inferior. And a lot of that pseudoscience still follows to this day. And it's very hard to educate. Yeah, easier to find them. Yes, the West Bank and Gaza. Okay, gotcha. Well, and think about this too. When they first started moving those people was many decades ago in the South. They removed them from the South, forced them up to Gaza and the West Bank, and then started bringing in people like from Russia and the Ashkenazi to come in, so that way they could fill the area, and the people that they had forced out couldn't return back to their homelands. And they're still doing it. But I digress, because we're talking about America. We will get into that at some point in time. It's a delicate thing for me. And well, just a minute, mostly because of Ned, because I don't want to misrepresent things in a way. I'm all about being objective. And right or wrong happens on both sides. Like, to me, the war did not start on October 7th. It had started much before that. And it's not a war to me. But anyway, I still haven't figured out a way, because I don't want to walk on eggshells when I do it. I want to present facts, but I want to present facts on both sides, not just one. Anyway, back to
North America.
Yes. Hold on, I'm about to excuse me.
Bless you.
One of the things that a lot of the people escaping the terrible things happening to them in Europe, some of those things didn't escape because they brought their cultural imperialism with them. These religions and these people who had been othered by the king now brought that same attitude here. So they didn't get away from it. They used it. And that,
I mean, there's the idea, there's the story, you hear people say like, oh, everybody was trying to escape oppression in Europe to come here to build a new life. And that's a lovely story, but that's not, it's not really, sure, some people were trying to get away from Europe because there was reasons for them too. But a lot of people were coming just to exploit what they heard was a land of plenty, and it wasn't about trying to get away from Europe. It was about coming to get rich and get what they wanted for themselves, whether it was on an individual level or whether you're working for a company or for a monarchy or whatever. Yeah, people were coming to get rich, get stuff, take what they wanted.
Well, and the a big line of my European ancestry were Dutch.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, not Dutch, Danish. And came over here. The gentleman was a merchant, and he was coming over here to start a merchant business because he knew that's where the money was. Same with a lot of the guys when gold was during the gold rush was happening. A lot of guys realized it's not the gold that's going to make them money. It's selling the stuff to the miners to get that gold that's going to make them the money. And they became stinking rich.
Yeah. It's not even just gold. When they were building the railroads across the United States, even in here in Canada, the people that were following the railroad companies with their businesses and setting up at all the little areas where the camps, where the railroad camps were, they'd set up, everything from supplies that people would need while they were, not working, to, saloons and brothels and all that stuff. So there was money to be made for, industry being, exploited across the country, across the land.
And boy, did they.
Yep, they certainly did.
There was a papal bull. I forgot the year that it was written. And because the Catholic Church was losing control, the Pope wrote a papal bull that basically said, we give you permission. It's on racism. We're talking about the roots of it here. How that got their evil little roots in and kept growing. The papal bull stated that the explorers could take the riches of this land by any means necessary. So basically, the Pope was giving them permission. You can murder these people and take their stuff. And that's what they started to do. If you're not going to convert to being a Catholic or whatever, we're going to take you out and take your stuff.
Well, we're going to take your stuff no matter what, but
yeah,
we'll give you a chance to convert if you'd like, but
and then a lot of times they didn't give them that chance because they automatically saw them as heathens, and
for sure.
Exactly. And that still continued up until Jim Crow. Anyone who denies that the Civil War did not have anything to do with racism, go back to school. Seriously, go back to school.
It was definitely an element, for sure.
Yeah. Some of the amendments were written because of that. I'm not going to go into those today. There's just way too much. And a lot of the laws that were written were done so because they were trying to outlaw and hold down. Like I said, there's 200 years of a head start even before the Constitution was written on how we're going to deal with these people that we see as beneath us. And don't worry, it wasn't just people of color, because people that would normally be considered, that are considered white today, were also discriminated against when they first started coming over.
Yeah, the Irish, for sure.
The Irish, big
Italians.
time.
Yeah.
Italians. Yeah, it just seems like every time a group comes over, another group gets insecure.
Hey, Ned.
Oh, hi, Ned.
Hey.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, to the Somalis today. And I'll make a quick, we're going to get into that more later, but I'm going to make a quick comment about that. If anyone thinks that fraud and crime started with the Somalis, you got a problem. because they didn't start it. They may have gotten better at it since coming here, because everything about this country is set up to learn how to beat criminals and fraud. Absolutely. Look at how many people Trump has pardoned that were successful at it until they were caught.
Yeah.
There's been issues with, and this isn't just, I love how it's been labeled as a left thing. Well, then all of those people in Florida that committed healthcare fraud with their companies, billions of dollars. What about those people? Now, I'm not trying to put a blinder up to any potential crime that these Somali peoples are alleged to have done. But if you're following that dude's expose where he went to the different daycares, you're stupid. I'm going to just flat out say it. You're stupid. Any of these influencers, you're stupid. I am so glad didn't that guy get outed by something, and now he's and of course, if the only reason the government labels it crime and fraud is because they don't like the competition.
I'd like to say a couple of things too about that. The daycare situations is I said this when I was on Rabbit's panel a few weeks back. The daycare centers, there may have been issues with them. I don't think that there was any intent to defraud with some things like that. They acted like, the weird operation hours were a reason behind it. And we do have a large Somali population here. What jobs do they get here? They are, a lot of them working third shift in hospitals, nursing homes. Amazon is a big one. Warehouse jobs. They work third shift, second shift, third shift. The shifts that a lot of people don't want to work. And they need daycare at odd hours sometimes.
Well, also, too, he tried to make the claim, hey, Claire, he tried to make the claim that because some of the most of the daycares wouldn't let him in the doors to look around, that there was something going on.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
They don't want him filming children.
Yeah, that's like you shouldn't just let anybody in. Like when you have a daycare, it's like
when I had my son in daycare. Okay, mind you, this was in the early 2000s. Anybody was not allowed to walk in the doors. The doors were locked.
Absolutely.
You
My
had
mom
to
was a daycare teacher for many years.
Yeah, I was a preschool teacher at a daycare. That front door was locked. You didn't just let anyone in.
Right.
So, and oh God, I was a daycare teacher in 1990. That'll date me. I was a daycare teacher in 1990, and then so 8-9 years later, I was taking my son to a daycare, and at neither of those places could you just walk in the door.
No, not at all.
Common sense to me. I mean,
yeah,
especially before they had security cameras, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
Now they have security cameras, but back then you had to show ID. You couldn't just come in and say, "Hey, I'm here to pick up Johnny." For the first time ever, you had to prove that you were allowed to. And
yeah, because some of the children at those daycares had protection orders.
Yeah.
Right.
From a parent. And the daycares had to make sure, and it on occasion it still happens.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody gets their gets their kid that they're not supposed to get.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing of it is, most problems come from the demonization of particular groups.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to make an enemy out of someone, and this is yeah, exactly, Oshin.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have wanted my son filmed and put online, and it wasn't even a big thing then.
Right.
If we want to debase someone, if we want to drum up support against a group, then we figure out a way to demonize them.
Yeah, you dehumanize people, and it makes it easier to hate them, to put all kinds of things on them.
We make them evil. And if they're evil, then they're easier to drum up support to be against them. And this is old propaganda going back thousands of years.
Yeah, racism's always existed. It's not like it just sprung up one day.
No, right.
You had given me, some shots to put up. I'm going to put this one up because there's a sort of point I want to make. And I mean, it's sensitive for some people. We know that racism exists in, every group. Of course, it's a human condition. But
yeah, this one.
I just want to say
that's a good one. Yeah.
The main problem here in North America, I'll just say, is like, let's just call it out. White people are afraid of not being the superior race on the continent. Not all white people, but it's a lot of the racism that exists has a history that comes along with European colonialism in America.
Yes.
So,
hey, Jim, awesome, he's here. Jim has been a buddy of mine since, oh gosh, we're going almost on 10 years now. He is who I learned about solar from and camp in the desert with on occasion.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of people in their day-to-day lives don't even think about something like this. They're just trying to get by. They're just trying to feed their family. They're just trying to do an honest day's work.
Yeah, for sure.
This is not a concern for them. But for people who are insecure and they're afraid that somehow the race is going to disappear in some way, yeah, let me tell you, I know a little bit about that. Because there's only 2,800 of my people left here in the U.S., and none of us are full-bloods. So, yeah.
I was just thinking earlier, sorry to interrupt, but obviously absolute racism is disgusting. When somebody hates a full group of people or minorities or whatever, and they're that's just obviously a disgusting thing. But I was thinking about racism in a way of how I see there's like three different types. There's sort of like unintentional racism, and I'll give an example, like where somebody who's not racist will do something that's racist. Like one year at a Christmas party here at my house, my mother-in-law was here, and my buddy brought his like girlfriend at the time, and she was black, and she had really nice hair, great hair. And my mother-in-law, yeah, it's coming. My mother-in-law was like, "Your hair is so beautiful. I love it so much. Can I touch it?
Can I touch it?"
Yeah. And all of us in the room were just kind of like, there was like a silent groan amongst us all, right? And she was very, gracious and said, "Yeah, absolutely." And anyways, my my sister-in-law and my wife took their mother aside a little later and said, you know, it's not a big deal, but you shouldn't ask people to do that. It's just, you know, and she understood, she got it. But so that's the sort of unintentional racism that happens sometimes, where people aren't intending to do harm or anything like that, but they just happen to, you know, kind of cross a line that you shouldn't. They didn't know that was there, like that there was a line there, you know. And then there's like racism where somebody's angry. They're not really a racist, but they're angry at something or somebody, and they use that as a way to attack them. And it just it comes out because they're whatever. Their anger is unjustified or whatever, and they do this thing. They're not really like, you know, they're not going to KKK rallies and stuff like that, but they hit that button that, you know, they're not supposed to hit. And then there's the racism where it's just straight up you're hating a group of people, and you can usually tell that type of racism because there's the person that's committing it is trying to hurt people. They're trying to dehumanize people. They're trying to, you know, devalue those people. And so that's what I was thinking before doing this whole stream. Like, you know, racism, what is it? There's, you know, there's different kinds and different levels and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just wanted to throw that out there, you know.
Hey Woodrow, how dare you bring in intellectual thought into this conversation?
Yeah, how dare you?
How dare you? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Let me tell you, there's a joke sometimes that pops up, and that with the touching of the hair, and it's, you know, we sit there and go, you know, those Muslim women wearing the hijabs may have a point, because we'll get it at powwows. I don't, because like I said, I'm the bleached out one, so people don't take me seriously at the powwows. But when it comes to the women who actually look, as people would think, look Indian. Oh, can I touch your hair? I just want to die. I want to die. What separates ignorance, stereotypes, prejudices, and racism? Well, to me, what Spider Dog just described is all racism. It's different levels of it, different degrees of it.
It's all racism for sure. It's the intention behind what a person is doing, right? Like you know, not to harp on it, but my mother-in-law, you know, doesn't hate black people and stuff, but she crossed a line of turning a person of color's hair into this exotic thing, right? I need to touch it. You wouldn't do that to anybody else. You wouldn't go up to, you know,
right,
some white girl with red hair and say, "Oh, can I touch your red hair?" Like, you know,
exactly. And that's that hidden racism, that hidden bias that we were taught early on, that doesn't come up in daily conversation, but it's lingering in the back of our heads. And then things like this happen. Stereotypes is a big one that I'm in, and that's these beliefs that people have about certain groups, races, whatever, like the drunken Indian or the lazy Mexican, those type of things. Those were old stereotypes that on occasion I'll hear somebody bring up. Not so much now. I, along with my discussions at school, I brought up why they had I was living in Cleveland. Of course, we had a team that is now I forgot what the name is now. But it was the Cleveland Indians at the time. And I had to teach how the name came about, because the false, yes, under a concept of bigotry, exactly. The false narrative that was repeated for so long, that they were honoring one of the baseball players. And my part of what I did was, when I was teaching, doing my lectures at the school, was to talk about how, no, it wasn't an honor. It was kind of a discussion and sort of contest between sports writers who wanted a better name for the team than the Cleveland Spiders. And between the public and those sports writers, the Cleveland Indians won out. It had nothing to do with Sauk Alexis. Also, too, and I used to protest in front of the stadium. Now, back in the day when they were building it, they call it Gund Arena, Gund Arena. And so our nickname for it was gonorrhea. But before it was named whatever it is now, because I've been away from Cleveland for so long, I used to protest there with the other AIM groups. And yeah, we got all manner of cussed at. People would get in our face yelling at us, spit on us. I got spit on 2 or 3 times. And you're honoring us, huh? Exactly. We're out there peacefully holding our signs, protesting on this, these ridiculous mascot is not an honor to us, and it's demeaning to our children. And it's so hard sometimes when you're up against that kind of stereotypical it's hard to remain in an educator position and keep that educator hat on, because whenever you interact with these people, it's an opportunity to try and change their mind. Doubtful it'll happen, because a lot of them are completely solidified that what they believe. They don't care how to affect your kids. They don't care how it's destructive to your culture. Like Todd with the bagel thing. He doesn't care, because all he cares about is his superiority. And that's where a lot of this and that is any group, trans, gay, disabled, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
one of the
group.
And this, like I said, we have so many laws in this country that seem rather innocent right now, but those laws were based in racism. Marriage laws, the original marriage license, it wasn't to keep people from, well, part of it was to keep you from marrying your first cousin, we know that, but mostly they were started to prevent mixed race marriages.
Yes.
They made them illegal. And it's only been over time. Exactly, Oshin. We are not a mascot. We are not Halloween costumes. Oh my, I call the holidays the trifecta of racism, because it's Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then and Columbus Day. So the racist and stereotype trifecta. And I, stuff. Anyway,
I'm of the school that when it comes to Halloween, it has to be like scary monsters, ghouls, and spooky stuff. Anything outside of that, I just like whatever. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute though. Wait a minute. Hold on, because my very first Halloween costume, and trust me, I hated it. My grandma dressed me up as a box.
That's not
like I was a present being shipped. She even wrote the address on the box, wrapped it in the paper.
I don't agree with that.
Back in the old days when they weren't using shipping tape, they tied it with twine.
Yeah.
And the whole that's what I was a box for.
Yeah,
I hated that.
So you're against princesses and superheroes too?
Okay, well, okay, fantasy stuff.
Yeah,
I'll let that slide, because it's for
sci-fi,
kids,
cosplay stuff.
Yeah. It's just ethnic groups and like being like a priest, or I don't know. It just should be something fantasy or horror or something like that. You know,
yeah. What if I want
I'll
to
go with that.
dress
I
up
allow
like
I allow superheroes.
the insane clown posse?
I'm into that. That's fine. You can be an insane clown.
I love them. So yeah, I want to go into a little bit about these laws that we came up with. The other one with the real well, yeah, because originally and still true to this day, we Indian people don't have the genes that assist your liver and your organs in breaking down the alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's actual poison to Indian people. It takes a long time, but you're gonna die. And that's also true for sugar.
Right.
And that's what I'm struggling with right now. Because what's alcohol? Sugar.
Yeah.
It goes through your liver and becomes glucose. Same with table sugar. I forgot the word now. But that's what I'm struggling with right now with having non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Sucrose.
I can't have it. Yeah, I can't have any doses.
Yeah.
Even there's a new one that they came out, allulose. I can't have that either.
Yeah.
But I can have stevia. And a lot of it is we don't science has not learned that when you take something from nature and break it down to the one form that is the helpful thing, such as willow bark. That's where aspirin comes from. Okay? But what they did when they extracted what is now called aspirin from the willow bark, they neglected to think that when you remove that compound from the rest of the willow bark, there's no balance there anymore. That's where you get your stomach problems from taking too much aspirin.
Because the plant itself has other properties that counteract some of the effects of just the aspirin and things.
Right. Like that. And I'm not saying that, oh my God, you can't take aspirin for your occasional headache. That's not what I'm saying. But these, low dose aspirin for heart. Why don't you deal with the heart problems and not worry about the aspirin? Eat right. Nail what you're eating first. And then deal with the rest of the side effects of your poor eating. And it's still hard for me because I'm so addicted to sugar. It's still hard. But yeah, when you take we also didn't have the genes that helped with dairy. We were not a dairy culture. But there were a lot of Northern European peoples that were dairy culture. It's colder up there, so you can't do a lot of farming and stuff like that. So generationally, they were okay with it. But then when they brought their milk cows over here and tried to give that to us, it was not a good thing. So yeah, crap. Okay, I went off on a tangent, didn't I?
It's okay.
They never tried eating bison milk and stuff, or
no, you can't milk. You can't really milk a bison.
Okay.
They kind of have a tendency to frown on that and want to stomp your ass into the ground. But they, at the time, and also another thing too, that I was not raised in knowing. Aztec Indians, we were raised at the time that they did sacrifices and did all this stuff. You know what they didn't talk about? Surgery. Aztec people did surgery. But the Spaniards burned all the books.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think that their indigenous people don't exist anymore in Central and South America. They most certainly do.
For sure they do. Yeah.
Your buddy says milk one bull and they never let you forget.
I think he's talking about a different kind of bull, though.
Yeah.
Meet my this is my Scotto.
Nice.
So cultural racism was big as well, because while I'm not going to say the Aztecs did not have their sacrifices, they most certainly did, but they also got into a lot of doctoring type of things as well. And they learned that from the surgical precision they used on their animals they were sacrificing, and people. I'm not going to ignore that part either. So then, because that was different, that was dangerous, it had to be destroyed. Which that type of attitude was very prolific up into the Indian boarding schools. The idea of the boarding schools was to kill the Indian.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, a lot of the time that happened literally.
Big time. I mean, it's a big issue still here in Canada in the sense of uncovering the truth and all of it. I mean, the country here in Canada, our government has apologized and is trying to make reparations or whatever for all of it and bring it to light. But I mean, they're still discovering mass grave sites all the time in the areas where there was residential schools and stuff. So
yeah,
it's a dark piece of history for sure. And I mean, a lot of things, talking about the Aztecs and, them saying, oh, it was, they sacrificed human beings and painting them in these like sort of dark ways. A lot of that comes from like racism for sure, but in the sense of the cultures, the Spanish, whatever, white people had to cover up the hell that they created, right? Like we rewrite the history, and we're not going to rewrite it as like, oh, we came and we were super evil to all these people who had a civilization, and we're we've got to dehumanize them and turn them into sacrificers and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and like, painting them with I think it's a derogatory term, is primitive, just because it's different than the way you do things doesn't mean that it's any way less effective, or a lot of those cultures were very civilized and very advanced for
sure,
things that were going on at the time, and they had different beliefs that were there that would be considered religious. I think Aztecs and Mayans, and and white people, or everybody would come in and they'd call them primitives just because they didn't understand what they were doing,
right?
But in so many other ways they were so advanced, just like Egyptians, and
yep.
Yeah, there's and religion plays a part of it all. I mean, the Europeans coming over here were fully under the impression they were being directed by God. They were on a mission. You have things like Manifest Destiny sprouting up in the United States, where it was like literally people were like, this land was here, God is giving us this land and it's ours to do what we want with it, right? And so, when you have that to back you up with your cultural beliefs, like, well, we're normal, we came here, we're the normal ones, then yeah, it becomes very easy to try and subjugate cultures you don't understand.
MST,
I want to answer that question.
Yeah, me too.
I want to answer that question. And the answer is yes. And the reason why I say yes is I am, and I admit to it. It's a struggle for me to not want to stereotype. It is a struggle for me to trust in any first of all, in any sense of the word, because trust was not something I was able to grow up with. But I I do generalize when it comes to talking about white people. See, here's the thing. I was instilled with all this type of racial bias growing up, and I flipped it on its head because of my experiences growing up. Everything negative that ever happened to me by usually a white man. And I and then, yay, guess who I'm married to? A white guy. I don't look at him the same way. So it's also really hard. Yeah, but it did here. It did
Predominantly,
here. Yeah, in this country it did. And that's it. Yeah, when somebody says that to you, oh, like that video that Candace put out. I should have grabbed that clip. I forgot about it. But she did that for that idiot group PragerU. Anybody wants to educate themselves on propaganda from the far right, PragerU is the place to watch, and don't believe it because they spin everything. Well, that's true. Baseless racism like Todd has. But I want you to think about that for a second. How baseless is it? See, Todd's really good at accusing and throwing slings and slurs and but
conspiracy theories and
his conspiracy. But where does it actually come from? What has his life experience been?
There's nothing that Todd has ever said that I haven't heard before from somebody else. Like any of the conspiracies or ideas, like none of it's original. It's been around forever. And I mean, I went through stuff in the 90s. I'm Jewish. I could tell you some stories. I'm not going to get into it, but all the conspiracies about Jews owning everything and all of it, everything he says, I've heard it all movies, before.
Entertainment,
music. It's just like you being indigenous. When somebody says something about indigenous people, you've probably heard it before. It's not new, right?
Yeah, it is not. And what makes me sad about his situation is it's all ignorance. Just yes, Bill, absolutely. It's because
probably
he never backs it up except for showing a video that he got from TikTok or YouTube that promotes his viewpoint at the time.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. He doesn't go back farther. He doesn't it's you know what?
He doesn't do any kind of research.
Yeah. The only thing I think in my mind when it comes to Todd is I think of a parrot. It repeats what it was taught.
Yep. He bases his views on memes that he agrees with. He doesn't do any type of independent research. All of his sources are biased. And he thinks he's the victim of everything,
Yeah.
Yeah, Fox News parrot. That's a good one. Did you I'm sorry because I never labeled those clips. Did you label them or
the dick bag ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them.
I've got and just to kind of go on MST's question a couple minutes back too, is I have been in a position where I have been the minority in a country that I've visited. In 2003, I went to Haiti, and we had a team of 6 people, and we may well have been the only white people in the country at the time, or at least in the villages that we were in. And there was some racism, but it wasn't the same kind of racism that I see.
Right.
And I don't think that there was anything that was malicious about it at the time, because it was just a lot more some of these children had never seen a white person before.
Right.
And it was a lot different than what we see here. So
there's a curiosity to it, and
there's a curiosity
and
some
some
fear.
fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's that's different. It's what the adults do with it that ruin those kids.
Yeah, in one of the villages, there was even a boy who was Haitian, but he was albino, and he was
God, that poor kid.
Yeah, he was kind of cast aside. It seemed like. And he came up and hugged us all. It was really interesting.
Someone like him.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, same reason he won't answer questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dickbag has had this maybe a little bit of a variation of the same question every time, and he won't answer it.
Yeah.
He won't. So yeah, I guess put up the first one, or how do you want to do it?
Let me just.
I wanted to. Oh, I forgot to grab Dickbag's link too, so we could put it in there. I pretty much most people know Dickbag, but for those who don't, Dickbag Patrol is an insanely creative artist when it comes to stupid.
Sorry, that's my job as a mod, and I have not been doing it. So
yeah, you are.
Dickbag's link.
Now remember,
absolutely, Oshin. Yeah, Haitians distrusting white people is founded.
I put those timestamps I put were within a second or two of what I was looking at.
Yeah. 1324 is the first one.
Yeah, close enough.
Here we go.
He even went camping with him. Here they are having a weenie roast. Oh, look, how adorable. You know, Todd, for a guy who uses homophobic slurs all the time, I gotta tell you, this is one of the gayest things I've ever seen. And I was in the Navy. It's got some real strong, we're getting married and you can't stop us vibes. Not that there's anything wrong with it. You two make a really cute couple. I'm sure y'all will be very happy together. JJ even gave Todd a real purty rock he found down by the creek bank.
Did he really have his hand on his shoulder in that picture?
Interesting, all right. But not as interesting as the next comment Todd makes.
My boyfriend JJ threw it to me.
Paging Dr. Freud. I don't know, Todd. Maybe the rock was JJ's way of proposing. Hell, you're both Kentucky residents. It might mean you're married already. Say.
That was the first one.
You know what I forgot to put up for that later on? It was the next a screenshot of the next one where he and Fuckle are getting married.
Oh
yeah.
Dickbag says that was a real screenshot, so Todd really did have his hand on his arm like that. Yeah, that's kind of gay.
Well, here's another one. This was 2707.
Match. Oh, except for that they also think that all white people are the devil. And you, well...
But you got to watch out for white people because they're super dangerous, right? I mean, isn't that the narrative? And when I keep pointing out that as a white man, I'm 40 times more likely to be attacked by a black man than the opposite. Not 40%, 40 times, a magnitude of 40. So knock off with this bullshit narrative that black people are scared of white people in America. No, it's like this huge chip on their... they think they can get away with that shit, dude. And they are getting away with it.
If I'm 40 times more likely to get socked in the mouth by a black dude, and I can show you 99 unique videos of black people beating the brakes off of white people to every one unique video of the opposite being true, you'd still stick to that narrative, wouldn't you? Because you're one of those fucking freedom fighters that's going to literally make yourself become extinct because you want to virtue signal your way all the way to the grave.
Yep, nice way to work in that white.
Yeah. Classic Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 40 times more likely. I mean, his statistic is bullshit. You don't have to, you can Google it, you can chat GPT it, you can do whatever you want. It's a bullshit fucking statistic, straight up.
Dick Bag pointed it out, I think, a couple seconds later, where he showed yeah. And it's this type of narrative that continues with people who want to promote racist ideas as something innocent, and that they're the ones that are being othered or discriminated against. I'm not going to say that white people don't get discriminated against. They do.
Well, you know what? There's a
but
thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say when your culture is the predominant culture or the dominant culture in the society, any ounce of equalization of other people, of minorities, or can very easily be seen as you're losing something, right? Like somebody's taking away from you just because another group is being equalized. That's where like problems with DEI and all that stuff comes in, is because white people see that, you're starting to hand these people free stuff. And it's like, that's not what's happening, but it's equalization that's happening, and they feel like suddenly they're being oppressed.
Yeah, we're going to bring up DEI. I got some stuff and I forgot to send it to you.
Yeah, that was just an example of just where people feel like they're losing something because another group is gaining something. And it's like, you're not losing anything. You still have the advantages that white people do have in our culture. And anybody that denies that white people don't have an advantage in our North American culture, like, wake up, okay? It's, there's enough data and evidence on it at this point.
Yeah, Dick Bag, I love his comment there. White people getting a taste of their own medicine. Boo hoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because in general, yes, I'm going to generalize. Most people of the Caucasian persuasion have never had to worry about getting pulled over by a cop. Most of them, especially in the 50s, didn't have, and if they were a non-white woman, didn't have to worry about being forcibly sterilized.
Yeah.
And this is the type of, because a lot of this stuff was hidden, a lot of this wasn't talking about unless K-Bars Oh, so his fat can't be used for ballast? They just roll him from one side of the ship to the other to keep ballast going. Here, paint the anchor on this side of the ship now. I shouldn't say that. Picking on squids. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Australia, one of my very favorite movies ever was the first one that got Russell Crowe noticed in this country. It was a movie called Romper Stomper.
Oh, yeah.
If you do not like insanely violent movies, do not watch it, because it is very violent. And it's all about the Asian racism and discrimination that went on in Australia. And I believe it was in Sydney, wasn't it? That the
Something
movie
like
was
that,
based
yeah.
on. And it was that level of, wow, the look in his eyes and the face he had and the tone of his voice, it frightened people. And that's what really turned on a lot of people early on to Russell Crowe to come and be in his movies. And Sharon Stone got him first in a little movie, a little country or a little Western movie Damn it, what was the name of that? Quick and the Dead. Thank you, honey. Yep. My husband got it first. Quick and the Dead was his first movie here. And he worked with a speech coach for it and LA Confidential. But he really brought the level of intensity of hardcore racism. It was frightening. What an amazing Sam Raimi. What an amazing performance that he did. And the fact that these kind of things imitate real life, but people only look at it as, I mean, yes, first of all, it is entertainment. It's a Hollywood movie. Or, well, that wasn't a Hollywood movie. It was an Australian movie, but it depicted real life.
Yep.
The movie is Straight Outta Compton depicted real life and what was going on in Compton.
Yeah.
Now at the time when NWA became popular, I was among everybody else, disrespecting cops, stuff like that. Boy, did I learn. These people had something important to say. We had an education that we were denied because certain people wanted a narrative to be taught that people of color were not as important, we're not as smart, we're not as equal as people who are not. And that went to the point that we made laws about it because they were so scared of something being taken away from them. I don't care. I don't care. The civil rights movement and the fight to it brought to the television set that systematic oppression, them walking across the bridge, the institutional guardrails that were put up out of fear are bullshit. And they're going on right now. In Minnesota, in Minneapolis.
I think one of the interesting things about saying, the civil rights movement being brought to the television is that technology, especially in the 20th century and now the 21st century, the internet, it's exposing much more. We're able to see it in like real time. It's not like hours later on the news. Now we can see things real time, just like we're seeing what's going on in Minnesota real time. And this is making it harder for those institutions, those individuals who try to maintain that systemic racism in our culture. It's making it harder for them to hide it, and it's making it harder for them to control it, and that's kind of a good thing. Things are being exposed. I mean, it even beyond racism, like something like the Epstein files, like, and all of that, like, the Me Too movement, all that, like, it's just harder to keep things down and to hide things like it was 50 years ago, and I think that's pushing us forward. It's a slow moving train, but it's pushing forward, so I don't know.
Oh, Bugger's here. Yay.
Piece of optimism there. I don't know.
Well, you know what? The other thing it's done is it's made it easier to spin it.
Well, that's true. It's out there.
Look at what happened when Renee Good was murdered on the street. Yeah. What's the first thing Botox Barbie did? Oh, he shot her in defense. He was afraid he was going to get run over. Yeah. No.
Oh, an interesting thing that just kind of came out about Renee Good too. The autopsy results and stuff have determined that the first 2 shots, one was to the arm, one was to the chest, she could have survived those. The 3rd shot to her temple is what actually killed her.
Yeah.
And he was not in any danger at that point.
That
No,
3rd
totally.
shot was execution.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and so was the recent one. I call
Yeah.
the recent one. I mean, they're both executions, but the recent one is just hands down. There's no.
You know,
to me,
but
it's straight up.
here's the scary part of it is these are not colored people getting shot, but they are protesting in defense of people who are.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's the kind of police state that's being created.
they weren't even protesting.
No, they weren't. She was trying to get home. She dropped your kid off at school. You're in my
Yeah.
way. You're annoying me. You shouldn't be here.
Yeah. What I'd like to say too is that these aren't protests where these incidents happened. These
Right.
were
Right.
These were observers. These were people exercising their First Amendment, free speech, and the right to record. And ICE does not like that. CBP, they don't like that.
And the Second Amendment in
exactly
in reference to the latest one.
Yeah, and he did not brandish it.
Nope.
No.
If it's okay, I'll link a video here, which I think it's from Penguin Z0. He has multiple angles. He does a very good analysis of this latest incident. If anybody is still on the fence about what happened, watch this video and you'll see exactly the events that took place.
I've seen most of the videos at this point. I'm assuming I've seen a bunch of them, and there's one where you can literally see the guy. He has no gun in his hand. He goes down, and his hand goes to the guy's back side, and then he comes out with a gun. So it's like he's clearly removing the weapon off the person.
He had already walked away with that gun.
Yeah,
by the time they shot him.
So. Yeah, exactly. But my point is just that if the gun was in the holster, like there's no threat. The guy had not brandished the gun. It wasn't in his hands. It wasn't coming out of his hand wasn't getting into his hands at that point. If he was a hardened criminal and it was a situation of a drug bust and stuff, I could understand real cops and whatever being, oh my God, the guy's got a gun sort of thing. But that's not what this situation was.
He was protecting a woman that they had pepper sprayed and shoved to the ground.
Yeah.
And he's a nurse. It's his instinct to protect people. And all they were doing was filming. It wasn't an organized protest there. They were just observing what ICE was doing.
Yep.
Because ICE is coming and they are taking people, and nobody knows where they're going. Sometimes they're on a plane to Texas. Sometimes they're shipped off to the Whipple building. Another thing that's happened today is that a VA nurse, dickbag. He was a nurse at the VA hospital in the ICU, taking care of critical care patients. And one thing that happened today is that yesterday the governor activated the Minnesota National Guard. And the Minnesota National Guard are there right now protecting protesters from ICE and from the brutality.
Wow.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
You mean they're actually being used for what they were intended for?
The governor is the only one that can activate them. The president can't activate our National Guard. The governor activated them to protect our peaceful protesters from the federal government.
Yeah. Wild. Unbelievable.
The federal government is a bigger threat to us right now than any illegal immigrants have ever been.
Oh, and let me point out a little problem with the federal government. When it comes to our Supreme Court, that's supposed to be non-biased. They are supposed to interpret the Constitution. They're supposed to interpret if something is constitutional.
Yes, she did.
We had to have amendments. Oh, Bondi. Oh,
She sent a letter
Can
to our
I
governor.
can you explain what the letter is? I don't. What
Yeah, she sent a
yeah.
letter to our governor saying that they will withdraw ICE if we release our voter database.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
What the hell?
Yes, the president can activate the National Guard.
Oh, can he?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually what's customary is a state will ask for it.
Mhm.
President has to sign off on it, and then the National Guard are activated. That's usually how it works. But under emergency situations, and this president has claimed that amazingly only Democratic cities have been emergencies. Yeah.
And what I've seen today too are some videos at the Whipple building, and the National Guard is out there handing out food and water to the
Wow.
protesters. Like it's just amazing the support that they're
beautiful.
giving. It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. I wish that would have happened in other situations too.
Yeah.
Because, again, none of this would be going on if we didn't have such a racist, biased administration running our country right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Hatred is taught. The Voting Rights Act in 2013, the Supreme Court pretty much destroyed it. Why did we even have it? Because of the voter suppression of Black people.
Mm-hmm. Here's another thing they're doing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Part of Justice Antonin Scalia's argument is this is what he said in his oral argument. Whenever a society adopts racial entitlements, it is very difficult to get them out through the normal political processes. You know what is insanely hypocritical about that statement? Is before the Constitutional Congress, they had 200 years to get those racial entitlements set as precedent before they even wrote the Constitution.
Mm.
Yeah, it is hard to get rid of them. And we are still fighting it. A lovely book. I'm going to use that term loosely, that William F. Buckley wrote in his essay, Why the South Must Prevail. He stated, white Americans are entitled to take such measures as are necessary to prevail politically and culturally.
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of sound like what's going on right now?
Yeah, it's manifest destiny. It's the same thing. It's like you're entitled. You have some entitlement, whether it comes from God or you're just some ideology. It's the same thing. It's,
You know what one of our oldest structural racial entitlement programs is? I'll let you guys give it a whirl.
I mean, I don't know.
The oldest.
The oldest.
Well, you might not know because it's not Canadian.
Yeah, but we know a hell of a lot about you guys.
That is true.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The Electoral College.
Oh yeah.
Oh right, of course.
Bing,
Yeah,
bing, 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 bing.
It's all about
that
how you divide up. Sure.
Yeah, Americans love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
They framed the Electoral College in ways that the predominant electorate were not people of color.
Yeah. Let's make sure the people that we think matter, their vote counts more.
Right.
And it's gone on so long
Yeah.
that it's become, oh, we can't get rid of it now. You know something? If America is such a great country and we're so good about amazing things, why can't we change this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Tree.
And then they do redistricting and stuff.
Gerrymandering.
Yep, gerrymandering. And it's okay when they do it, but not when the opposite does it, and vice versa,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fight back and forth, right?
For housing and lending. Originally, in the 30s, the Federal Homeowners Loan Corporation created maps. And what these maps did was they designated neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
They called it residential security. So if you didn't live in the proper area, you weren't going to get a home loan. And banks used these maps to deny mortgages. They called it redlining. So any of these areas that had a red line around them, if you gave the address of a house that was in a red line district, you automatically were denied a mortgage. And that not only prevented families of color from enjoying the security of owning a piece of property that was going to most normally be raise in value, but it denied people of color generational wealth as well, being able to pass that house down to their kids, being able to and that also worked against them with jobs too. It wasn't outlawed. The Fair Housing Act wasn't outlawed until 1977 with the Community and Reinvestment Act. Now, another thing that people will bring up, especially when it comes to the protests, is what about the riots? Back in my day, Rodney King, the riots in South Central, things like that. What about them?
Yeah.
Have people ever thought to talk about a person that were involved? Okay, I will never ever be supportive of riots. I don't think they serve any purpose. But ask people why they do it.
Yeah, there's a reason why they happen, for sure.
Yeah, those houses, they're renting them. They're not theirs. They've been denied the loans to be able to buy them. Those businesses in their neighborhoods, they were denied business loans to be able to start their own business in their own neighborhood. So people sit there, why are they burning down their houses? Why are they burning? Those aren't theirs. So take a moment and look at why. Look at the why. Don't just automatically assume, oh, those black rioters. It was the same thing with Black Lives Matter protests. All the agitators that would show up, the anarchists that took advantage of it, the hired people. Why is it only, it seems, that liberal type of institutions are accused of having paid rioters, but January 6th was just a protest? What about the agitators, the paid agitators during January 6th?
Yeah, looking at it from up here, it blows me away. Many of us up here looking, at the U.S. and seeing, you have Black Lives Matter, protests going on, and sure, some bad things here and there happen. Some of it's, manufactured, some of it isn't, but that doesn't really matter. But then there's like this whole societal, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's just seen as, what are these people doing? You know, like, ooh, they should go get jobs, and you know, all the stuff that they were saying about it. And then you see January 6th happen, which is, you know, clearly predominantly white people upset. And what are they doing? They're storming the US Capitol. They're literally storming like a building that contains the foundation of like your government, where the law, where things get done, and they're trying to subvert democracy. And it's suddenly, well, you know, they were pushed far, they're upset, they're, you know, and all the excuses come out for them. And it's like, how do you not see the hypocrisy in what's going on here? You know, we see it up here, and it's I'd like to say it's humorous, but it's not. It's fucking scary, you know.
Well, and I have mixed feelings about it, because in 72 we did it, but we didn't go to the seat of government power. They went to the BIA building.
Well, you made a point. You made the point you needed to make, right? And I mean, you weren't trying to shut down the government in a sense of, you know, we're going to stop everything and subvert like the rule of law. You were making a point, and that's what you did, right or wrong.
I can't deny that there wasn't damage caused or things like that.
Right.
But, you know, like I said, part of that occupation of the BIA building resulted in Indian people finally having the proof that they needed to force the government to admit that they'd been forcibly sterilizing our women.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. We didn't do it, or no one, at least as far as I know, threatened to delete a person in Congress because of it. It was, here are our points. We need you to change these things, and we're not taking it anymore.
I would say January 6th is a perfect example of white privilege, where it's like white people took the privilege of doing that, like taking it to such an extreme, because they're upset about something that was, I mean, they don't really have a leg to stand on about like the election being stolen or whatever. They were just unhappy, some unhappy white people. And it's pretty unbelievable, but that's white privilege too. Like, what if black people had stormed the Capitol? What do you think the outcome of that would have been?
There would have been chaos, lynching, murder.
There would have been a lot more. Yes, there would have been a lot more deaths for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And it wouldn't have been white people. Like, you know, so.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, it isn't just certain people that have been discriminated against. Chinese have been discriminated against. The Irish have been discriminated. Japanese during the
Asian cultures for sure.
George Takei.
Yeah,
George Takei was taken to a concentration camp.
Yes.
What they were called here, internment camps.
Internment camps. Yeah.
Yeah.
We like to change the names for depending on who's in it.
Yeah.
They're all concentration camps.
Yeah.
Ours were called reservations.
Yeah.
You know, Dean Cain, Mr. Takada. So, you know, racism and cultural racism is a tool that is used by a culture who is fearful and doesn't want to lose their power, or in defense of the lack of power that they have. Like I said, I'm racist. I know it. I try not to be, but sometimes, especially right now, it is really, really hard. I mean, look at the history of black men, black people in the military.
Mm.
Yeah.
Segregated forces.
Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh God. Ah.
I knew one of them.
Did you?
Yes.
My husband just said you weren't allowed to be a black gunner's mate until after World War II.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see.
There was a Tuskegee Airman, Kenneth Wolford, and he was a friend of my grandparents. He was their Sunday school teacher, and he came and talked about his experience at the Tuskegee Institute.
Vanished to the realm of SK supply room.
There was a movie on Netflix 2 years ago called The 6888. I wanted to bring up that these were predominantly black, all-female U.S. Army unit that processed the mail for the Army in Europe. These poor women had very little training. Some of them were made officers right away just to run the unit because nobody else wanted to do it. And they had to come up with a central mail system. And we're talking bags and bags of mail that had like rotten food in it, rodents, the disease. They had to go through all of this and create the mail system over there.
Mm.
And what do you do when you just want to get rid of people that you don't want to see or do anything with? You put them in the rottenest job in the basement and figure out a way to get. These women were amazing. They overcame so much that it's estimated that they cleared 17 million pieces of mail, which boosted the troop morale. 65,000 pieces of mail per 8-hour shift. These women ran 24/7, 3 shifts in 24 hours. And they finally, in 2022, we're talking about something that started in 1945. And in 2022, they finally get recognized for their service with the Congressional Gold Medal.
That's because there wasn't very many of them left alive.
I can't. It just, the ignorance. Look at Hidden Figures about the women at NASA, those math geniuses at NASA who helped with the space program. I didn't know anything about them until that movie. This beautiful hidden history that we have. Why are people afraid of it? Why are Todd's afraid of it? It's absolutely mind-boggling. Hey, can you put up that one of Dick Bags that I wanted?
The final one there? Yeah.
Yeah. She saved John Glenn's life using math.
Let me just, that was the 3028. Okay, 1 second here.
I love you, Dick Bag. You're so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, he's mine. Okay, we're getting married.
Even
right,
Boot was showing some dick bag videos the other night. So
yeah, he was. Yeah.
Character instead of a handsome, intelligent one. You're like Yosemite Sam if he were a white Christian nationalist.
Oh, I hate them queer black collie Jews.
Hey, speaking of racist, remember when you had your pal Beezy watched on
Blister
to try and whitewash Literally, him telling a black security guard to go back to Africa.
You racist. You told me to live here because I'm from Africa. You racist.
No, I said you need to go back to Africa, learn the laws, and then come back.
You told me to go back to Africa.
No, I said you need to learn the laws. No.
You racist.
Yeah, you know what? Go to Africa, come back and learn when you learn the law.
You racist.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
You're from
kill that
Africa, aren't you?
guy.
You're from
Shut
Africa,
the-
right?
You're supposed to say that.
I can say whatever I want.
I don't want to listen to Food Blister.
Did you want to see the rest of that?
Although, well,
is the point
actually,
made?
I do like the part that Dick Bag says later about him not looking like he's missed out on any food or something like that. Okay, go ahead and play it.
You want me to play? Yeah.
I don't remember how much of that. Mostly it was.
I think that was it.
Damn part. That
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to. Dick Bag is a genius. So yes, these are the type of things that we have grown accustomed to. And just yesterday, or was it today, a Democratic congressman got punched in the face at Sundance Film Festival and was told by the guy who punched him in the face that Trump was going to deport him. This is how ugly this is getting.
I have that.
Florida Congressman Maxwell Alejandro Frost. Afro-Cuban. First Afro-Cuban to be elected to Congress. Punched in the face. The guy was drunk. And I don't care if you've been drinking. If you made the decision to put alcohol to your lips, you're making the decision for everything that came after that. So he was talking about people, about how proud he was to be white at this party, allegedly.
Lovely.
You know what? If he's proud to be white, fine, be proud of it. But if you're saying it in a way to belittle someone who's not, you're in the wrong.
Yeah, I think it's rare when I'm sorry, but when a white person says, "I'm proud to be white," it's rarely coming from a place of, good. It's not impossible, but it's rarely, if ever.
There's this wonderful speech. Oh, I forgot about my favorite racist. Charlie.
I got this one.
Yeah. And this one in particular, I wanted for Spider Dog because of Calgary being listed on there.
Mm-hmm.
The power centers of the West will soon have Muslim mayors. You become what you import. Yeah.
She wasn't Muslim.
Right. He said that in reference to, and I'm gonna let you. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name.
Jody Gondek.
And she's Sikh, not Muslim.
Yeah. She's no longer mayor. She lost her last election. We have a different mayor, but yeah, she was not a Muslim. She was Sikh.
You become what you import. Yeah, I will say, Charlie Kirk, you didn't lie about that.
We have large Sikh communities in Canada, and they do a lot for the communities, and they're just Canadians, and she became mayor.
Pronounced
we had before her, we had a Muslim mayor.
Sikhs are very peaceful. They're not.
Except for the Sikhs that took down the oh gosh, I'm a big fan of plane crash shows, and they took down a plane coming from England over to New York City and crashed in the Atlantic.
Yeah,
and that
Air
was
India.
Air India. And that was a Sikh group out of Canada.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and it's still a sensitive topic here for the communities and stuff like that, but
No,
it's,
Lockerbie is something else.
yeah. But it's the communities are
Now he's gonna have me looking.
they're very they're very strong in Canada. They have, I mean, there's politicians, like chief politicians all throughout Canada in federal government and stuff like that. I mean,
Well, look at all the anti-Muslim hate that came out about Zohran Mamdani.
Oops, I just removed.
That got really, really ugly.
It did.
And I will say that there are so many different sects of Muslim, and they all look at Sharia law. The ones who do follow Sharia law all look at it differently. I can't remember the guy's name, but he is I believe he was a professor at Libyan government. I believe he was a professor at a university in Los Angeles, and he said, if you ask 10 different Muslims, you're going to get 10 different answers. And that's very true.
I mean, you have two major fundamentalist religion, sects in Islam. You have the Sharia, people who follow Sharia, and then you have
and the Sunnis.
The Sunni, yeah, exactly. But beyond that, there's many other. It's just like Christianity. There's lots of other sects and other, versions of
and there's
Islam.
Lots of different versions of Sharia law.
Exactly, yeah.
It's the Islamic fundamentalists that take the worst of it and do bad things. And the particular sect of Muslim that Zohran is from do follow Sharia law. However, when people make these accusations, they're also forgetting something else about him. He's a democratic socialist. This is a guy who went to pride parades and gay festivals, and he's Muslim. So please pigeonhole that guy for me some more. Now, to me, honestly, because the history of the Democratic Party, I think he's bound for failure, and I think they'll figure out a way to do it if he doesn't do it to himself.
Yeah.
Because remember, he's still a politician. So, and if it's a politician, you're going to be almost guaranteed they're going to screw it up somehow. Yeah, he assimilated, exactly. He is a New Yorker. Nothing about his speech and the way he's talked in the last, I don't know, since he was on the city council, identifies that he would he also believes in the Constitution. Guess what the Constitution guarantees? It guarantees the freedom for you to practice your religion. It doesn't guarantee you to use your religion to beat somebody else over the head with it. That's the Constitution. There is no court, unless they are become really crooked or somehow our Constitution gets trampled on even more, that would support Sharia law. I am more, I made a post earlier, I am more afraid of Christianity becoming the state religion, because Christian fundamentalists have already infiltrated our government and passed laws that support their biblical stuff.
I mean, Project 2025 under the Trump administration is completely backed and created by the Heritage Foundation, which is basing all of their stuff off of Christian nationalism and ideologies. So
yes,
yeah,
Yeah, and Charlie Kirk was a huge proponent, claiming that the founding fathers wanted Christianity
Mhm.
As a state religion, and that was one of the biggest lies he ever told.
Yeah, and
Because
make no mistake that Turning Point USA, which he worked for, now his wife is in, it's a Christian nationalist organization.
he co-founded it with somebody even
Yeah.
more racist than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Muxter. Yeah. One of the biggest lies that he told was that it was the reason why they didn't have Christianity as a state religion was based on only one letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote. Yes, that letter is an accurate statement. But what he's not discussing is all the rest of the discussions and letters that took place between all these writers and signers of the Constitution. And the one thing they decided was they were not going to have a state religion, because then they'd all end up fighting over which religion was it that was going to, which version of their religion was going to be the state religion.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Treaty of Tripoli, which you guys signed between the United States and Tripoli, it was about shipping and stuff like that and whatnot. But as a document, states itself too in the Treaty of Tripoli that the United States is not a Christian nation, is not founded on Christianity. So that's one of the things that people turn to when they're saying that the founding fathers were Christians and all of that. It's like, well, yes, they were, but the point of what they were trying to create wasn't a Christian nation. But I'm not American. I guess I should keep my mouth shut.
No, you get that.
I know. I'm just joking.
Absolutely. One of the things that they looked back on was past history. Look what the Church of England did. They didn't want to repeat that here. So that little aspect of the freedom of religion part is very based. It was absolutely something that they wanted to have here. And they felt they did not have the right to tell another man how to believe. And that's why, they weren't all Christian. Some of them were agnostic. Some of them were atheist.
Yeah, for sure.
Most of them were some type of Christian.
Deist.
But the thing was, if they were creating this allegedly free country, they all decided it was not up to them to tell another man how he was to believe. Something that Christian fundamentalists of today should follow. But you get people like Charlie Kirk and these others, the Masons, that you think, they twist this kind of stuff to turn it into religious supremacy.
Yeah.
And that was my other point about Minneapolis earlier, was that all the accusations of Minneapolis is going to turn Sharia. Yeah, not going to happen. Okay, I get it. It's a Somali stronghold in the U.S. There are a lot of Somalis there. But they have never met the anger and furor of an indigenous auntie. If you think for 1 minute that an indigenous auntie is going to allow someone from another religion to tell them what they have to wear, you got another thing coming, buddy. They're not going to let it happen. So I'm not going to say that they don't have an effect. What I'm more concerned with, because of our corporate media's zealotry when it comes to discussing negative things, what are the positive aspects those neighborhoods and those families.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
like the video
That
that we
doesn't.
showed last week, Todd
Yeah.
Mathen's video about the Somalis in Canada. I'm not going to say everything is, everything is unicorn farts shooting rainbows out their ass. There are, let's
For the
just
most
say,
part, the majority of people want to live peacefully and have jobs and send their kids to school and the whole thing. Like, but that doesn't sell news, right? So you're not going
right.
to hear about that. You're going to hear about the doom and gloom and the bad things that are happening, and they're going to be blown up to seem as though they're something way
And
more than they are, you know? But
and our corporate media continues to further this indoctrination of racial hatred.
mhm.
This tool of war used to dehumanize people so that the rest of people like them get on board with it. And it's ugly business. Ugly business. There's no room for it. I've had discussions with people that they like, first of all, they'll tell you, you got to think about it out of the box. You got to think differently. And when I do, and I want to discuss it differently, it's why you have to be so different. You're putting up boundaries, or you're labeling something. There's always some excuse. There's always some fucking excuse,
Mm-hmm.
right? I love things that are different. Different means the world is not boring. Yeah, race and then wealth. Yes, the divided are easier control. I agree with taxing churches too. Why is it that we are in this country, we are only allowed to have a few rich people? What's wrong with more people being rich? Maybe less money. Maybe those people aren't as rich as Elon Musk and some of these other clowns.
It's a
What is
conversation unto itself, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What is so scary? Why can't people of color build generational wealth? What are you going to miss out on if they do? We should be supporting each other in this country and holding our government accountable. But we don't. And then the programs that we have that were supposed to be used as social safety nets are in turn turned around to be used for rich people to make money. Medicare and Medicaid and the prescription plans for one.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they did with the VA. Yeah, well, actually, no, Bill, you can, because look at Elon Musk. He's a clown.
Generational wealth.
So this idea that we have to hate on others, you just look at history. Wars are started by the leaders of countries and rich people. But the ones who pay for it is us and our families.
Yep.
We need to stop it. We need to stop looking at our neighbor and thinking, oh God, they're this, so they're going to do this. Dude, calling Elon a clown shows how ignorant I am.
I mean, the guy's a drug addict. I don't know, you know. And he comes from generational wealth. He paid people to make him more money, and good for him. He's done it, you know.
He has how many kids with how many?
He's not a
people
genius.
and-
He's a prolific breeder.
Mhm.
Hey, you know what? He is paying for his kids once you prove that it is his kid.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that, but he's got the money to be able to afford to do that.
Yeah.
The thing is about Elon Musk, and you go ahead and show me how ignorant I am. Tell me what Elon Musk has invented. You know what he's invented? How to buy people and manipulate the system so that he can get away with things.
Yeah, even when he makes something like the Teslas, they're cheaply made. They're exploding. There's so many problems with them.
Well, to me, they're throwaway cars.
Yeah, they are. They're disposable.
So,
I mean, Elon Musk, rockets, he didn't invent rockets. He just got
He
people,
didn't
paid
yeah.
people to update the, the rockets that we build now. Like, they create new technology that wasn't analog anymore, that was digital, and because all the old rockets were analog that we went to the moon with and stuff like that, and that is outdated. We're not going to do that anymore. All the new rockets and stuff, I mean, it's the same reason why they shut down the space shuttle program. It's just the technology was becoming obsolete. We needed to update things, and that's what Elon Musk did. Great. He didn't do it. I mean, he put his money into resources to make it happen, and that's great. Well done. He didn't invent rockets, so
Right.
Well, what Elon Musk was good at was buying businesses and putting the people in place to manage them. He himself did not do that, but because of his investments with and work with PayPal, it was PayPal, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
He was able to take that money and buy other businesses and put very smart people in charge to run them. And that's how he became successful. And I gotta admit, I'm kind of proud in a way. We have our first troll. I just wish he was smarter than this.
Yeah, we aren't wealthy enough. We aren't, and like I said, kudos to him for doing it, and great. He's not some exceptional human being, though.
No.
I mean, this is opinions, Bill. So we're all allowed opinions here, and yours is allowed as well.
See now, Bill, look at what Munster
is.
just did. That's smart trolling right there.
Yeah.
That's smart trolling.
He is from Africa, right?
South Africa.
South African, yeah.
He is South African.
His father owned ruby mines or whatever. A lot more, but
yeah,
that's
blood
where the
money.
money. Yeah, where the money comes from.
Emerald mines, I think, wasn't it?
His family became rich on blood money.
Yeah.
And then apparently South Africa wasn't good enough for him, so he moved to Canada, and he got bored in Canada and came to the U.S.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. You're correct about that. And
that's what I just described, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly.
So
but that also doesn't make him a good person.
Stupid I am. Please tell me how stupid I am. I just described that. Elon Musk is good at buying businesses and putting people in place to manage them.
Mm-hmm.
But he is not some engineering genius that created these businesses by pulling himself up by the bootstraps. He got money from daddy and reinvested his money from PayPal. Yes, excellent salesman. But yeah, I do not consider him any kind of a genius, but I will say he was a genius in figuring out how to milk the system to his benefit and screw a lot of other people. And his hatred of people, that the workers that he has hired, he made very evident all along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, we'll have to distinguish between the actual Bill who has brain cells and the other one who is just repeating tropes.
Bill and Billy Bob.
Yeah. Mystery, he is also poisoning southern Texas now. Spit. Okay, buddy. What is well, maybe Hazel is wanting mommy. Did I have anything else I wanted to show and I've totally forgotten about it, Spider?
Let me look here.
Yeah, I do. One of the things I wanted to close with.
Oh, okay, the speech.
Did I give you the meme for it with his picture on it?
Yeah, I got it here. Just one sec.
Go ahead and put that. I'm not gonna read it now because it's already almost 6:30. So, I wanted to bring up this meme. The picture is of Rod Serling, and most of you know him from Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And in 1964, there was a multi-faith civil rights gathering in Los Angeles, and actor Dick Van Dyke read his speech. I'm not going to go into all of it, but a lot of people in Hollywood very quietly were supportive and of people of all races and kinds. They didn't believe in this idea of teaching hate. Hatred is not normal. It is taught. Another person who very quietly protested, Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, did it with every episode. The only apology he ever made was to George Takei, because he couldn't figure out a way to but to show that a person who was gay is just as productive and acceptable in society.
Yeah.
It was the only thing he could not figure out a way to get past the censors. But he got around everything else.
Well, it was just a different time, I think, and it just wasn't, unfortunately, time for that yet.
At that point, it was still illegal in certain countries.
Exactly.
But he was able to, it's taken a lot of creativity, and the hard part for me is it shouldn't have to. If you don't hate, if you don't teach your children to hate, if you don't look at somebody else and hate them, all humanity has a right to be here on this planet. We should stop the stuff that's actually unfair, not because somebody's a different color or who they love or because they're female. It's all learned and taught crap. And the last thing I want to make a comment about is DEI. And a lot of it has been destroyed by this administration. And one of the things that I find particularly, oh damn it, I lost my thing. One of the things that I find particularly unfortunate was the people that it hurt the most. Let me hold on, let me pull this back up. The most people who benefited from DEI were white women.
Right.
So this idea,
I've read that statistic. Yeah.
Yeah, this idea that it was all about protecting colored people is wrong. Was it something like an updated version of employment law for people of color? Absolutely not going to deny it. Not going to deny it. But guess who else it helped protected? It helped protect veterans.
Well, and people have this idea that DEI meant people with lesser qualifications were getting jobs over people with higher qualifications, and that's just not the reality of it, and that's not what it was about at all. It was about opening the door for people of color, minorities, to get their resumes on the table to be looked at.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, oh, well, we have to have a brown person because we don't have any brown people. It was about putting the resumes in front of, it's not just about resumes, but anyways, you get what I'm saying. Like
yeah. And what Charlie Kirk again bringing it up, his questioning about his accusation, sometimes veiled, sometimes not so much, that a woman or a person of color being an airline pilot, and he would think twice about flying on that plane or going. How disgusting. When Pam Bondi was tapped to be Attorney General, did anyone claim she was a DEI hire?
Right.
I mean, it did mostly help white women. So this idea about hating people because of something about them, especially when it comes to something that they can't control, they had no choice in, is just plain ignorant. So right now we have a city in distress that's been turned into a war zone for very little reason. If we have laws that are protecting this country, how come they weren't being used in this situation? Why did they have to send in a thug unit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I hope that this will come to a good won't come to a good conclusion. 2 people's lives have been lost.
Yeah.
For doing nothing more than standing up to the oppression of an authoritarian government.
Yep. And they can try to spin it that they're trying to get rapists and murderers and people out, but that's not what we're seeing here on the ground. That's not who they're targeting. And
well, if they were truly wanting to get rid of rapists and stuff, how come we got one for a president?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. What about all of his friends? What about all the people that were pardoned for all those crimes that they committed? The reason why Ghislaine Maxwell is in Club Fed, but she's not pardoned yet, is somebody with maybe a couple of brain cells hopefully convinced him that by pardoning her, it could make things real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if you pray or can extend some kind thoughts to the people of Minneapolis and in these other cities that have been unfairly targeted because we have a president that doesn't like them,
We don't have an illegal immigrant problem up here either. To be clear, our city was peaceful. They can try to paint it that it was like, like downtown Chicago or like riots all the time and stuff, but that's not what Minneapolis is like. That's not what our cities were like until they showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So till they were demonized.
And these were not people that were protesting even. These were people that were using their First Amendment right to record.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just
And
because
someone driving home from dropping their kid off at school and being upset because their street was being blocked.
Yep.
And I mean, there's no reason you had. I think I tried to count. It's kind of hard to tell, but it seemed like there was 7 agents on this one guy. There's 7 agents can't control.
There were
a situation.
5 on him. There were a couple others around the
right. Okay,
and he wasn't
resisting.
it's
just
he wasn't resisting. They shoved this woman down. His last words were, "Are you okay?" to that woman.
Well, and I mean, he was in a sort of, he got himself into a sort of fetal position, like, not like on his side, but like, on his arms.
They
and
were
legs.
pistol whipping him in the head.
Yeah, and there's a guy feeding him punches and stuff. Like, I'm sure he's trying to protect himself because he's getting hit, and he's got a whole bunch of guys probably putting knees on his back and all the things. Like, he wasn't a threat to them at all.
Highlight James Barnaby's thing here on illegal immigration, because I've been saying this for years. See, we don't go after the people that hire them, because those people are more than likely not people of color.
And they're probably not paying taxes for a lot of the stuff, and a lot of under the table deals and things like that.
I don't know how to do this. How do I do it, Spider?
You just click on it.
I'm sorry. I was looking at something. What are you trying to do? Sorry.
Highlight James. Yeah.
You just
I don't know how to do that.
Which comment did you want to pull up?
Illegal immigration is easy to handle. James Barnaby.
There we go.
Thank you. I've been saying this for years. Did anybody ever question why we don't do that? How come we're not arresting the people that are hiring these people?
Or bringing them here?
Yeah. Well, if we did that, then the federal government would have to arrest itself.
Yeah.
Because they love bringing in busloads of agitators. So, but yeah, they don't want to arrest themselves. You cannot touch this government. Oh no, it does nothing wrong. You cannot touch their rich friends that own them. They don't do anything wrong. But their propaganda has been so effective that we attack each other. We attack people that can't defend themselves. They don't have a strong enough voice to defend themselves. People are just trying to get by.
Yeah.
That's what we've been conditioned to do. Don't attack the government. Don't attack our elected officials. Undocumented. And that's true. Undocumented workers pay millions of dollars into Social Security that they will never get and cannot claim because they're breaking the law and they are using someone else's Social Security number to be able to work. And the reason I know that is I used to know people who did it. So yeah, I get that part. But I've had discussions like this before. I don't believe in open borders, but also at the same time do have a problem with borders, because when these borders were originally put up, it divided a lot of indigenous people.
Yeah,
especially in Mexico. And
yeah, for sure.
Yes. So a lot of those people that got stuck south of the border, who were, these are trade routes.
Mhm.
These were people who left the north. The original snowbirds left the north and went south across the border where it was warmer until winter was over, and then came back north. Now they can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, California, Texas, New Mexico, like those places
Arizona.
they
Yeah.
weren't American. Like people were living there. They were, like there was nobody to stop them, their family from being 400 miles away. Like, that's what colonialism does. It separates people, right?
But do I believe in protecting our borders from criminals? Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I also believe in protecting our country from criminals, and we have a bunch of them running our government.
For sure. I think when it comes to borders, I mean, it's common sense, right? We need common sense border protection. Like you're not just going to let anybody in, or you just have to at least keep track of who's coming in. I mean, this is common sense stuff, but the way it gets blown up, right, into these issues is ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
and I mean, I guess I'm Canadian, so I have a different view to a degree. I mean, you guys do have a different border than we have, but I mean, our border's kind of scary too right now. So,
well, between the U.S. and Canada, we have the longest unguarded border in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, holy cow. What a terrible thing. All these terrible miscreants are coming across our borders.
Isn't that the Canadian border?
Yeah, Canadian-U.S. border.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we didn't meddle in so many other countries and turn them into shitholes, we wouldn't have to worry about so many people wanting to come here.
Yeah, that's another good point.
Yeah, people who do go to, it's different than say it was 70 years ago, 50 years ago. People still want to come to North America to have better lives. Sure, there's always going to be a criminal element. Crime is everywhere in the world.
Yes.
It's a part of being a human being. But people, when they uproot themselves from a country that's thousands of miles away to move to another country with their families or whatever, they tend to have an idea of like, I just want a better life. I want to be able to eat. I want a place to sleep. I want to, to be able to have a life and a job and that sort of thing. So much emphasis gets put on the minority of criminals and stuff like that we lose track of that fact. And of course there's propaganda to put us in that position, right? Because
exactly,
it's unfortunate, but it's where we are, one day at a time.
Yeah, and hopefully I don't know enough about Minnesota politics. I feel that the governor was unfairly painted with a lot of hate when he was running as vice president. Mr. Walls, calling him Tampon Tim and totally misrepresenting that deal.
Yep.
Political hatred is nothing new, and some really funny shit comes out of it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to stuff like this and people are dying over it, no.
Okay, Bob, I'm going to give you one thing. It's a chance here, or not a chance. I'll say one thing to you. Nobody here thinks we're solving world problems. We're having a discussion, bro. That's all it is, man. We're just talking, and it's all cool. And I get it. you don't like that we don't like, or I don't like Musk. That's fine. It's cool, man. I don't like him. It's just simple as that. I don't think he's a good person. But that's on me, and it's okay. You can believe what you want. But yeah, we're not changing the world here. This is just Sunday talks, man. That's it.
Yep.
Sorry, I had to say that.
Well, and I'm hoping that by our talking that something in what we discuss is educational for people.
Yeah, it opens up the subject for other people to talk about it, to think about it, whatever, not changing minds, anything like that.
No one up here is a drug addict either. I don't know why you.
Yeah, I'm sober, so I don't know. But it doesn't matter. If somebody wants to think I'm a drug addict, it's fine. Doesn't bother me. I've done drugs.
Yeah. I'm assuming he means me because of the weed, but that's medicine.
Well, he said blue hair, and your hair is green in that picture, so
yeah.
Colorblind, yeah.
Yeah.
Weed is medicinal. I use it medicinally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I don't do any of that anymore because my liver don't like it.
Yeah.
Well. Anyway, so let's tie this one up, and
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
I could be like doing one of those stereotypical comments of my thoughts and prayers are with Minneapolis and Minnesota in general.
Mm-hmm.
But there for anyone who has been unfairly targeted by some kind of bias that was taught by our educational system.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was a kid, only white industrialists were considered successful people, except for the cotton gin. That was the only thing allowed. But everybody stay safe.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to tell people don't go to a protest, because that is our right to do it. And this nation has been a nation that has protested since before it was created as a nation.
Mm-hmm. Kind of built on a protest.
Our government needs to know that what they're doing in Minneapolis and other blue cities is not acceptable.
Yeah.
Because that's discrimination unto itself.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you've heard, I saw it just before we were getting on and stuff, but they're bringing up Article 2 in Congress again against Trump, and it looks like it's passed to hit the next level of whatever that is. So, I mean, it looks like some, lawmakers they've had enough of him. So
yeah.
We'll see.
Well,
I mean, they're not going to get rid of him, but at least anybody that can put a little bit of a box around him, maybe that might be a good thing. So we'll see.
Yeah, because he's just been nothing but an embarrassment on the world stage. I do know this, like we had talked about, he backed off other things like Greenland, which is 90% indigenous people.
Yeah. That all went south for him pretty fast.
Yeah. So
that's another topic again.
Creator help us, please,
Yeah.
All right, everyone. All I could tell you is stay warm. I hope that the weather has not been affecting you too badly, and that you're safe.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up, Angel Gamer. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, yes.
Anytime.
A voice from right in the area.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you so much.
So everybody have a good night, everybody out there, and we'll see you
Take
next
care
Sunday.
of yourselves. Yep, see you next Sunday.
Next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.